I said it before, opening day in St. Louis, unlike anything else, and you could feel like it was a sense of normalcy. I know the weather wasn't great, but people were actually really excited to see Albert.
Yeah.
And the full capacity, I think folks did savor it. It was a great day. Now, the scary part was the Cardinals were hosting the Pirates, and if you know anything, if you're a baseball insider like me, you know that lineup is stacked because they go about it the right way.
They do.
I think like the tell that the Cardinals were going to have their hands full yesterday is when Vogelback is the leadoff hitter for the Pirates, prototypical guy who's going to scrap, get on base, maybe steal, just puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So, but fortunately, the Cardinals were able to navigate around it and post a close 9-0 win.
They did a good job on that.
Daniel Vogelbach is the human embodiment of somebody who's trying to take your lunch money in junior high.
Right.
He's a high school bully that played fullback and linebacker. He also wrestled.
Oh, wow.
That's just his look. I think he's a really nice guy. He looks like the bully that hits puberty before everybody else in junior high.
Did he have the cauliflower ear?
No, he just kind of has that. He's big, right? He's muscular, but he's not cut. He's got the facial hair.
Yeah.
I'm going to find a picture.
Yeah, let me see that guy. I kind of like him now, to be honest with you. 855. What's that? 855-282-8255. By the way, we got Brooke coming in. We believe Brooke's coming in. She had a long day yesterday too, I'm sure.
I saw her yesterday for a second at the ballpark. I did not ask her, but I think she's locked in usually. I'll text her here in an hour or so.
We got Yaker coming up at 9:30. Talk a little hockey. You got a big game with the Blues and Minnesota coming up tonight, baby. Playoff type game. I hope. We'll see how that goes. But how was yesterday, by the way? I mean, tell me your day, Charlie. You got there early. I mean, you had to get there early. That place was jam packed. I remember coming home and turning the TV on. I'm like, we missed it. I'm like, no, you didn't. They just did a different celebration before the Clydesdales came in. Oh no, before the Mustangs came in, which looked very uncomfortable for some of those guys trying to get out of those damn things. I felt bad for, God, McCarver couldn't get out of that damn thing. They're so uncomfortable looking, but that was really cool, man. The crowd was going crazy. A little chilly, but how was your day, Charlie?
So, as I'm watching the pregame ceremonies, which I think lasted about 50 minutes, and it's great. If you're a baseball fan, if you like baseball history, it's fantastic. So I was outside of the press box watching that amongst the folks, and as I'm watching it, I was looking at the Pirates dugout. And of course, Albert, Yachty, Waino, Hall of Famers, it's all fantastic. But I was just kind of looking at the Pirates dugout and chuckling and thinking, they have to be sitting there watching this and thinking, this is so cool. And what we have and what we do, despite, by the way, a great baseball history of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Great stadium, too.
Great stadium.
Beautiful stadium.
I think it's my favorite in baseball. But they have to sit here and think, here we are. We're a AAA team. We're a AAA lineup. We're watching. Excuse me.
Whoa. Somebody partied yesterday.
I turned from the mic. We're watching the greatest baseball town in America with a great history, with the Hall of Famers, 40,000 people. Like, what's ours going to be like in Pittsburgh? I kind of looked at it, I'm thinking, all these guys probably really wish they played for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, man. It's like,
that's what I was thinking.
I think a lot of teams feel that. I mean, players on other teams, especially now the way baseball is. You got haves, you got have-nots. But it was just, you could. I don't know about. Did you feel that in the stadium? Like it was like real pure energy and excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely was. Seth, how was your day? By the way, I'm going to get through everyone here. We got a 3-hour show. We're going to talk a little Cardinals.
Three?
Today's a 3-hour show.
They said today we're only doing 145.
Yeah.
Right, Nate?
That's it, baby.
Just what you want.
How'd you do? I know you tried to get a hold of Charlie, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not going to."
Big shot at me.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
That's not true.
I just got the funds.
What were you asking him for free tickets? What was going on?
Charlie was
You didn't
working.
come through.
Why'd you do that?
That's all right, Charlie.
First of all, this was Seth's opportunity to talk. I had a parking issue. Okay, parking.com, your app out there. I parked in the shoe lot.
Let them know.
Nobody cares about this, but
Let
No, they
them
do.
know.
You know what?
They do.
People deal with
I think
this
some people
crap.
do care about this.
They
now I
deal
think
with
about
this
it.
crap
They
downtown.
do.
That's why go.
I got off on 7th Street. There was so much congestion.
Yeah.
I decided to take a nice left turn, go around. I like that shoe lot. It's the lot right by Highway 30.
Farty.
It's right by Enterprise Center.
Ooh.
Okay. No, it's a
It's
good
called
lot.
the shoe lot.
It's a good lot right there.
It's honestly called the shoe lot.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
why, but if you
Okay.
put it into parking.com, they call it the shoe lot.
Okay.
$20 to park. It's all good. It was 40 closer to the park. And I didn't necessarily care about that. I just wanted to get out of the congestion.
Too much jam up.
On 7th Street.
Yep.
Park in the shoe lot. You do the thing where you hold your phone up against the block, whatever you call that thing.
Yeah.
It comes up.
Yep.
You put your information in. I get my truck, I park it. I start to walk to Busch Stadium. Put in my credit card information, my license plate, so on and so forth. Confirm purchase. It buffers for 15 minutes to the point that it then expires. I have to put it back in. I do that 3 times. When Seth was calling me, that's what I was dealing with. I didn't want to get a ticket.
Yeah.
After 3 tries and literally 45 minutes, I just said, screw it. I texted parking.com. I said, your app is terrible. I sent him a screenshot. I said, I've tried to pay 3 times. I'm done. Now, I don't know. There was no ticket on the truck. I don't know if they're going to send me a ticket.
They will.
But I'll fight it because I have 87 screenshots. So nobody cares about that.
No.
But that's what was happening when Seth called me.
Okay.
Right. So
That's
then
an excuse.
once you straighten that out, then you got right back to Seth.
Yeah.
Correct?
Okay, but
Yeah.
I was
Correct,
at the
that's
game as a media member. I was in the press box. I mean, I wasn't trying to drink. I was going to maybe drink after the game.
Really?
But then, well, I was going to go to patios. I'm sorry, the Pirates, I hate to keep ripping on the Pirates. This is a day of celebrating the Cardinals. The Pirates are so bad that I lose interest in the game.
I hear you.
Like, if the Cardinals were playing the Brewers and it was close, I'd have been edge of my seat. When it's 5-6 zip and you look at the Pirates lineup, I left in the 6th inning because I'm like, I'll help my wife with the kids. This game's over. The Pirates
my
are
wife with the
making me
kids.
pay less attention, although I will pay attention this weekend because of the great giveaways we'll tell you about later.
Oh, yes, sir.
So forget
Yes,
what I
sir.
just said.
You know, it's funny because a lot of people point to like teams like the Pirates and say this is what's wrong with baseball, right? You have teams that are trying to compete. Look at the Pirates' payroll. Look at what they're putting out there. This is the problem with baseball. What Charlie just did was he blamed his lack of being a good teammate with Seth on the Pirates.
No, and
when you
parking.
think about it,
Parking.
when you think about it,
Parking.
Pirates.
Am I,
Yeah,
Seth?
yes.
Am I right on this? He blamed the Pirates for not at least getting a hold of
Just
you.
say hi to the kid.
Well,
just
he
wanted
did
to say hi to you.
respond.
I
I
texted
do
him.
give him that. He did respond, and it wasn't even me. Sarah really wanted to meet you. She
That's-
was really looking forward to it. So
Well, who doesn't?
It happens.
she kept a smile face or a happy face, and no, everything was really fun. We actually started off at patios. Walked
Packed?
around.
Was it packed in there?
Oh, yeah, it was jam-packed.
Could you move around because it's so big? Like you can kind of creep around and find a seat.
It was on the first floor, and then once you went upstairs, a little bit of space. But
Yeah, nice.
No, it was a really good time. We walked around the perimeter of the stadium. We didn't go inside, but we went to Ballpark Village for about an hour. Ran to some friends. It was an all-around good day, and I can honestly say I didn't see anybody getting any fights. Nobody was in a bad mood.
No carjackings. I didn't
no,
see it in the newspaper this morning.
Pirates didn't put up
no
much
arrests.
of a fight.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Nate the Great, what'd you do? What'd you do?
I just worked the game. It was pretty low key.
Define
Like,
work the game.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Define. I see what Jimmy
didn't
does.
see you.
I see what Jimmy does.
I was upstairs.
Jimmy's
I saw him.
Jimmy's
Yeah.
working the game.
You were working. You never came upstairs.
No, I did like early to set my stuff down and listen to sound and pick out sound bites. Then I had to go down to my area where I do hits from and stuff.
Right, but sometimes you come back up for like a couple innings. at
There's
least.
so much.
Now Jimmy's
I
avoiding.
had
Now
too many
Jimmy's
hits to
avoiding
even
you.
come back up. I
Charlie
didn't even
avoids.
eat.
Look at that. We're starting to separate. Charlie's avoiding poor Seth. Now Jimmy's avoiding you. Oh
That's
my
right.
God! I don't even show up.
But actually, Charlie makes a great point because the
Oh,
game.
he always does.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you for
it's
saying
such
that.
a shame because the game was so boring because it was like watching an exhibition against a joke of a franchise, and I this is going to sound pretty tacky and fanboyish.
Oh, it's okay.
But let me tell you something. Yesterday, you got a chance to watch a 40-year-old guy carve up a Busch League team with multiple Hall of Famers in the lineup. And that is pretty damn cool, okay? Like, Adam Wainwright is a Cardinals legend, and there are multiple times that I've left that stadium and I walk right by the Bob Gibson statue, and I sit there and I just go, I'm like frozen in time. And I think, holy crap, I just got to see, in some ways, our generation's version of Gibson. And, like, I think that Chris Carpenter is probably the Bob Gibson because he had more of the mentality. Waino is just, he embodies everything you want out of a Cardinals Hall of Famer. And when you see it, like a couple years ago, do you remember that day game when he outdueled Max Scherzer and Tommy Edman had an outfield assist and the Cardinals won that game? Unbelievable, and it helped them get into the postseason. They later had a run to the NLCS. Moments like that, man, that's why baseball absolutely kicks ass in St. Louis.
Good.
You know, that's
Is
the
he
best
a
hot
poet?
take we've ever had.
Is he a poet?
You're beautiful.
Somebody take that,
I
put
know.
music behind it,
Masters
and
music.
create
people
some type of infomercial.
They don't really know Nate the Great. You know, they hear he's throwing hot takes around, but he
He has a show, of course they know him.
Well, he's got a couple
An
of them.
excellent show.
But he don't know the real Nate the Great. Like, he gets emotional sometimes in a good way. in
He
a
does this
positive
on
way.
purpose for his image. He knows he's so brash that he feels once every 2 weeks he has to show that he has a soul.
And that's fine. And that's fine.
balance it out.
I think I'm becoming a Nate Lemming.
Now I'm putting my Russian jacket back on.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
And I'm not calling him out. I did kind of have a perch seat in the press box in the second row.
Yeah.
And I did notice that Nate actually was working double time. He was covering the baseball game and the Masters at the same time.
That's how you do it, man.
It's
What a
true.
cool day for that. Man, oh man, were you cold? No, you're inside. Anybody
It
cold
was-
though? Like, were you...
I was cold.
Oh, I bet. Well, yeah.
I was cold, but honestly, like, my take is not going to be as good as Nate's because that came from the heart. But I will say this: with everything that the country went through, there was a lockout, that put the season in jeopardy. Problems in the world, like yesterday, even despite the bad weather, was a good opening day. All those things that Nate said, Pujols' return would have been great if he hit a bomb, but a lopsided win against a crummy team. But you got to see all the guys do their thing. I honestly think baseball's good for the soul. I think baseball is good for, and Nate, I'm not trying to put it on a bumper sticker, but baseball is good for America. It is America's favorite pastime. You can look at the numbers, say NFL, I'm not even going there. I'm just saying, didn't it feel good yesterday? Everyone was together. We're so divided as a country.
No doubt.
And now you're in a stadium that's packed. There were only 2 Pirates fans. I checked that. So everyone was unified
It reminded
in
you
their
of 3
love of
years
the Cardinals.
ago. It
Yeah.
reminded you of what be pre-COVID.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's happy together. I don't know.
And I worked all day, and I honestly felt leaving like I felt like rejuvenated in a way. Like it was
man.
good to see people all pulling in the same direction, all having a good time, all packed in together, without fear of this virus.
Yes.
It just was a good day.
Yep.
I think it's a stark reminder that sports are meant to be a break from reality in some ways. Sports are supposed to take your mind off of all the ridiculous craziness that everyday life, offers.
I like that because you could have really gone deeper there, but
Yeah.
you just left it alone.
You left it alone.
You left it alone, and I
he's good,
appreciate
Nate,
that.
today.
Well, no, first hour.
It's gonna happen.
It's early.
I
'Cause
like it.
I thought he's gonna throw Kaepernick in there somewhere. He
Something's
didn't.
gonna happen.
He did not.
No, we like the brash Nate, though. We don't want the brash Nate to go away, but this is a nice side of you for sure. Joe Buchevsky goes, guys, I love Danny Mac, but why on 3 separate occasions did he mention that the Pirates had a losing record last year of 101 and 61? That would have been a great season for the Rats. He probably messed up.
No, he didn't mess up.
Or whatever.
I didn't notice that, but here's the thing. Danny Mac is that's probably satire. Danny Mac is, in my opinion, the best play-by-play guy. We're lucky to have that guy.
Yeah.
And that guy works his tail off. Nobody does better prep than Danny Mac. No one talks to more people to find out stuff he needs to know for the game. I always tip him. He's my buddy, so I'm a little, I'm a little lopsided in my view.
Yeah,
He's the best play-by-play guy in baseball.
Did you see Freeze? Was he there?
I did not see Freeze.
Was he supposed to be there? Or did they show his new landing? What is it called again?
Freeze's landing.
Yeah, Freeze's landing.
I don't know if they made a big some of it. Sometimes during the breaks, I'm talking to producers, so I don't know what they're announcing in the stadium. I know they're going to unveil that. I did text Freeze, and there are times where he's home, and there's other times where the family's out.
Yeah,
and I can always tell if I get the green blob,
he's in somewhere weird.
I'm not going to hear back. If I get a blue, then I know I'll hear back. So I got to try again and hopefully get the blue.
Well, you
I thought green versus blue was iPhone versus Android.
Yeah,
It
sometimes
has to do
it
with
is.
reception.
No, it's both, Jim.
Is it?
No, it is.
both.
I know it's both, but if you get a blue with someone and then you get a
You're
green,
green, that's a
it's not because they just changed phones. It's because it had to be sent as a text as opposed to, I don't even know.
Charlie, you don't realize that with all your buddies and your group texts, that the one dude that doesn't have the iPhone screws everything up, and you're like, why are you the one guy?
That's what I just said, though.
Yeah, I know, but in this case, it could be that
I've never encountered that. We have the one guy.
100% have.
We have the one guy in our college text.
The jackass.
And so his Android, I don't even care as much about the blue thing, but his phone ruins every piece of video, right? If somebody sends a video, it's because
tiny.
his phone stinks that it pixelates it like it's 1999.
That, and it's really tiny in a corner. Like, what am I watching here? Like, you ruin go get an iPhone. Does anybody not have an iPhone in here? Like, there's always...
Actually, no. This whole group we're all blue.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
We
pretty
are
nice.
blue. Huh. Anybody else you see at the game?
You know why that is? Because iPhones are made right here in America.
Did you see? Yeah, no doubt. Did you see any other guys there, like hockey players, anybody cruising around?
Robert Thomas and Justin Falk were there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They showed him on the board, but, I mean, it was sort of lackluster. Like, they didn't even put a graphic on the screen. They just sort of announced it.
Yeah.
But I thought they could have thrown a highlight up there and pumped the game tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, Blues are doing
it's
pretty good.
all about the Cardinals at that point. But no, I like the cross promotion. They're really good at that.
Most games when some of the boys were there, I'll go and grab an interview.
Yeah.
But I think we kind of felt like, all right, it's opening day for the Cardinals.
Exactly.
And there's certainly enough material to
Well, there's
talk
enough
about.
of the guys there anyway. Like, who got the biggest reception as far as the big boys coming out in the Mustangs? The Hall of Famers.
Oh, I
mean,
mean, it's
Ozzy
all
got-
the same. I mean, people love Ozzy. They love Willie.
Yeah, Willie. I thought through the TV, I thought Willie had the biggest one.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Pujols when he was introduced, and Yachty. You know, it's and then the cool thing is like starting pitchers have their own routines, right? But Waino was out there with Yachty and Albert. I watched them watch the whole Hall of Fame ceremony. They're in the dugout watching on the Jumbotron, and then Waino was part of it. Even though, usually they're so strict with their way they prepare for their start that they're not going to break for even a ceremony.
Yeah.
And Waino was there as part of it, and then he went out and he stuck it to the Buccos.
Yes, and I predicted that score too, by the way. I believe I did, didn't I?
Let's confirm that.
All right, let's go. Score they're going to kill them.
It's going to be a
gonna be
great
9-0.
day. It doesn't matter what the final
It's gonna be
score is
9-0.
today, but I think the Cardinals win.
9-0. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I said it like 3 times.
Exactly predicted the score. Good for you.
I didn't make any money. I
Big
think.
baseball guy.
You're a baseball cleric.
I know why you're in a good mood. You won some coin last night, Nate the Gray.
Yeah, but I bet every over in every game, and that wasn't the case.
Help me understand this, because I know
It was a nasty day
I know
yesterday outside.
gambling.
Yeah, dude.
Gambling is a big part of sports now. There's no question. It used to be taboo, and now they're sponsors.
Soon to be legal in Missouri, by the way.
Okay, like I don't have a view on that. If people want it and it seems good, then go for it. I'm not a gambler, but to me, like if you're a baseball guy, right? So I would think you get more pleasure out of betting things that have to do with strategy or things that you see through your prism. And you're like, I bet all the overs. Like, where's the fun as a gambler in that? I'm not criticizing. I'm just asking.
That's a good question.
I know guys like that. They're like, yeah, I bet the over. Well, where's
Get
the
creative.
Well, hold on. He gave his strategy for why he's making these bets yesterday.
No, I understand it, but that's not really, it seems just like it's more about the gambling than the fun of figuring out the sport, if you know what I'm saying.
It may have been, those may have been some irrational bets. I'll give you that.
But generally, like, Charlie, you
Irrational
gamble.
bets.
I'm not saying you spend a lot, but you're a big gambler. Probably put the mortgage up.
Huge gambler.
But does it enhance, like I always hear people say, probably you, it helps to enjoy the games more.
100%.
I enjoy it less.
Well, here's the deal. Now, first of all, I'll get into the not that anybody cares argument. There's different forms of gambling. So I love gambling on football. I love gambling on the NFL and college football, usually Ohio State. It's the only team I really watch. Baseball, I don't feel the need to gamble on because I love fantasy baseball. Fantasy baseball is a form of gambling, but there's a ton of strategy. And people can make fun of fantasy geeks, but let's say I join 3 fantasy leagues and I spend, let's say, $250, $300 on the entrances. I get $10,000.
That's double oven territory.
Whatever
right
it is.
there, right?
That's a lot of
But if you're in
things going
16
on.
team leagues, you can win $1,000, whatever it is. I get $20,000 worth of enjoyment for 6 months of a baseball season of following baseball. And oh, by the way, if you love baseball, you will never know more about baseball than
That
if you
is
really, if you take a fantasy league seriously and you're trying to win. You have to know who the prospects are. You have to know who the eighth inning guys who will be the next closer if there's an injury. You have to know platoon splits.
Man,
it's
sounds
very
god awful.
No, I love it.
I get that.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
I did
that's a lot of
fantasy
work.
football, and it was fun, and that part I could see enhancing enjoyment. But I mean, it also is kind of takes a lot of time to do it right. I think.
Okay,
baseball
you're also-
lineups
you're a baseball
change,
reporter.
Baseball
That's-
change,
exactly.
lineups change. You know, there are times. You know how guys tweet like every detail from pregame and everything like that. You know, some reporters. I don't do live tweeting unless I think I have a joke, which probably isn't funny. But I don't
Then
have
you
to
delete it.
I don't have the time. I don't have the time to tweet every detail. You know why? Because I have to go and listen to the sound and get the in cues and that. You know, like and it's that same reason why I can't play fantasy baseball, because I'll find out that Yachty's a late scratch, and the last thing I'm going to do is change my fantasy team. You know, like I got things to do with that, so I can't. But I could see fantasy sports enhancing. But if I bet on a game, and let's say it's a team I like, and there's a guy on the other team that I happen to, you know, all of a sudden you're rooting against your team because of your bet, or a team wins, that your team wins, but the guy you bet on didn't do well, then you're upset. I find myself not enjoying it.
Here's what you do. You bet on things that you're not emotionally invested in, and then you're more interested, which is why, like, I like the NCAA tournament, but not the way I liked it as a kid. So I get back into gambling. Once football ends, I basically don't gamble for whatever that is, 3 months. And then I start gambling again for NCAA tournament because it makes me more interested in the tournament. The second the tournament ends, I pretty much do not gamble. Like, I'll do a Masters pool. I'm in a Masters pool. Again, everybody throws in $50, $100, winner take, whatever it is. I like stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I'm fine with not gambling throughout all of hockey, NBA, baseball season, and getting back into gambling when football season starts.
I guess it's like, if I'm home on a Sunday and it's like, oh, the Dolphins and Patriots are on, I don't have a real rooting. How am I going to make this more enjoyable?
That's
I'll open a bag of Funyuns.
Oh,
You know, like you'll put you'll put a little bet on something, so that gives you an angle. I'll just eat a bag of Funyuns.
And I know gambling is looked upon as, people say, oh, you're degenerates. The science and the data and the math that goes into gambling is actually really interesting. And even if you're not putting a bet down, following where the money is going, what the pros are betting, what the public is betting, you follow the smart
You
people.
learn a lot, man.
What are they betting?
Yep.
Why is that line that way? Why did that line move? Why does that line look really weird?
Putin.
Whenever
Yeah.
that line's
Nice.
weird, by the way,
Kim Jong-un.
right? It's weird for a reason. Like, if a line looks a lot different than you think it is, you should probably take it.
Yeah.
Because we're dumb. The public is dumb. And overall, they lose.
855-282-8255. A TV guy is the best play-by-play announcer in baseball, ? Baja. Has a cat ever heard of radio where they actually do play-by-play instead of talking about themselves the whole broadcast?
Who's that from?
314. No, 618. No wonder. 618. Tom Bernansky chimes in and goes, I am very frustrated with the Cardinals still for not being more aggressive this offseason. They would have won 13-0 if they would have been more aggressive, of course. But I took my son to the game yesterday, and for one day, all that went away. It was great being back to a normal opening day. You're damn right. Normalcy. I mean, everybody was happy, man. Let's see here. If I knew how to bet, I'd be ruined. Yeah, I get that. Let's see, another guy. Kat, what was the Kat, what was that you asked Wayno, the question?
I guess I'm a bunch of questions.
During the press, the post-game presser, he asked. 314.
A bunch of. There's one that stands out. I asked him because there were, there's a lot of emotion with Albert's return, and I don't know if this is what he was talking about. And Wayno has said, just for context, hey, pump the brakes on the retirement talk, because he never really said, this is my last ride. And everyone's throwing him in there, last ride for the big three. So I, knowing this, said, it was emotional today. Did it cross your mind based on the fact that Yachty said this is his last run, that this will be your last opening day start with you and Yachty together? And he's in the middle. He's like, "Oh, you going there?" He knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
But that's why I asked it. If that's the question. And then at some point, even I don't know when and where we picked it up, but before we started, he was referencing my coaching career.
For basketball coach?
For basketball.
Yeah, everybody does. Real quick, Charlie, my wife just texted me because, oh, you forgot your laptop. Yes, I did. And by the way, when I read these, the text line, sometimes it might be a little tough because my phone's kind of going crazy. Go ahead.
Well, Kate, I know it's
It's her fault.
It's kind of snowing. Kate, I know you have a short drive to the studio.
Yeah.
It's only about 40 minutes. Kate, why don't you please bring Cam's laptop, maybe some Egg McMuffins.
Maybe some food.
Some hash browns.
Oh,
it's only 40 minutes, so
Yes.
it's a 2-hour round
Make
trip.
something, Kate.
Those hash browns are good.
Man,
Orange juice, some coffee.
Dang, starving. What were you going to say?
Okay.
Sorry.
And again, I don't want to focus on the Pirates, but I can't not. And I say that because
You love them.
well, no. We follow the Cardinals. The Cardinals are good. They're gonna be good. They're probably gonna make the playoffs. If not, they're gonna be in that
not what I
85 to
predicted.
90. Right, whatever it is.
Been pretty good so far.
But again, as I'm watching the game, it's hard for me not to focus on how bad the Pirates are. And I understand they signed a big deal, biggest deal in franchise history for Key Brian Hayes, who's a really good defensive third baseman. Will he be able to hit at the big league level with power? We'll see. Plus, he gets injured right after he signs
That
his
was
contract.
unbelievable.
So I hope that check cleared for him.
And he is a really good player.
Defensively, you can make the argument he probably should have won the Gold Glove. I hate to say that.
Oh.
Seriously.
Disagree.
now
No,
he's,
I'm telling you, he's
now he's not
by
coming on the
some of those
show.
metrics.
You
he's the
hate
best.
St. Louis.
He
No,
does.
I'm just
Get him, Nate.
I'm just telling you, it's true. Look it up.
Happy Nate.
As I'm watching that, I'm just thinking, I almost wanted, getting back to gambling, I almost wanted to bet that the Cardinals will sweep the Pirates every series. Like, I watch them and I go, how are you going to beat the Cardinals? I'm trying to think of the formula. How do the Pirates beat the Cardinals? Like, I watch them play and I think, I mean, how many games they play these NL Central teams? Is it 19? Is it 18?
Yeah.
I almost feel like the Cardinals are going to go 18-1 against the Pirates. I'm not even joking.
They're playing them.
That's the way
They're
it's
so
minor league
bad.
team.
They are awful.
That's the way it was before they put something together, a little run, then they fell back down to earth. But I've said this before. They were the convenience store of the Central. Like, you go to Pittsburgh, you pop in there, you take 3 or 4, pop a burrito in the microwave, and out you go on your way. They're kind of back to being that. But I can't get away. Like, if it were a different day, it wasn't opening day for the Cardinals, I would have done something as Vogelbach being your leadoff hitter. Now there's a reason for it. I don't remember him as a guy who he's a power hitter, kind of an all or nothing guy. Maybe spring training, he was getting a lot of walks, or I just can't. I mean, to me, it's perfect Pirates baseball to have a guy who weighs 290 pounds as your leadoff guy. I saw that, and I was like, all right, if this were game 3 of the series and the excitement had died down, maybe I'd do something on him as the leadoff guy because he's not your prototypical leadoff.
Monster.
Makes me laugh.
What do you got, Seth?
PFT commentator from Barstool Sports tweeted yesterday, last year my algorithm of betting against the Pirates all the time for the entire season was a whopping plus 24.8 units. This year we're bringing it back on every Pirates road game. Hashtag Pirates booty.
That's
And
a
he-
lot.
It's a lot, man.
25 units?
Are they the
and he-
worst then?
I don't even
Oh
know
my
what
God.
a unit is. Like,
Well, just whatever your bet. If you bet $50, that's a unit. If you bet
Okay.
$500, that's a unit.
What are you going to say? Go ahead, Seth.
He just bet the Cardinals to win and the Pirates to score under 3.5 plus 115. Smack it.
Man, oh man. How many people are going to show up for that home opener?
Their defense was so bad. I mean, they could have easily had 4 errors,
Yeah.
and it's just a bad team. I mean, and then their guy who they give an extension to right before the game, Hayes, would they give him $80 million for 7 years, and then he hurts his wrist, like flailing after a can of corn pop up off the bat of Carlson in the bottom of the first inning. First guy.
yeah, I mean, they're a mess. And I think back to the discussion we had too. If you owned a team, and let's say you made a financial decision that you're going to have to reboot things, you get it. But if you care about your fan base, you do some things. So there's something to cheer about for your team, right? Like the Reds at least brought some guys in after pretty much emptying the shelves. They brought some guys in that short term that at least give the fans something to cheer about, right?
That's what I'm saying. I feel bad for Pirates fans. You'd be ticked off if you're a Reds fan. At least you got Joey Votto. You got Tommy Pham. I know Luis Castillo is banged up. He'll probably get traded. And by the way, just for some context, so Key Brian Hayes, he was banged up. That's the reason he didn't win the Gold Glove. But he led all third basemen in defensive runs saved with 16, and he only played 766 innings. So he basically played half the innings that some of these folks like a Chapman or an Arenado or Manny Machado played, and he still led third baseman in defensive runs saved. He's a stud defensively.
And I think he's going to be a very good offensive player too. He's just a little bit raw. Cam, one of the beautiful things about Pittsburgh, Charlie loves that ballpark. I love that ballpark. One of the cool things, especially when they have something going there, and there's fans in the stands. A beautiful day, sunny day. It's right on the river.
Oh, I know exactly where it's at.
And folks park their boats right next and tailgate on their boats.
That's cool.
And it's literally right outside the stadium.
Yeah, you got the two rivers combined right there. When you come out of the tunnel, and it's right there looking over the water. It's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Pittsburgh's a cool city. And it's unfortunate that owner's so cheap, because if they were good, like the fan base, they're like St. Louis, man. It's kind of like a Midwest feel there. They're all hardworking, steel, this, that, and the other. Heinz, ketchup.
It also underscores the dangers of trying to upgrade your team, because if you make mistakes, it could devastate you, especially if you're a team where you have to be real careful with your dollars that you spend, kind of like the Cardinals do. I mean, they try to be careful how they spend their money. They try to be efficient. Like when they were building back up, that trade for Archer, they sent a couple prospects, including Meadows, and Archer never – like that really set a team like that back. Now, if you're the Dodgers or you're the Mets, right, you just spend more. And, like you can wash over all your mistakes by throwing more money at it.
Oh.
For some other teams, they don't have the finances to do that.
Happy Nate got chirped by Gino.
What?
A can of corn pop is an easy out. Get your terminology right, Nathaniel.
What do you say?
Go look at the pop-up. It was a can of corn. Ball should have. Okay. First of all, that ball's got to be caught 100 times over. If you're dropping that ball in shallow left field because the guy's running out there like his head's cut off like a chicken, I mean, come on, catch the damn ball.
A can of corn is one thing. Corn pop is the guy that our president fought back in Delaware. I heard can of corn pop is something different. Can of corn is a delightful baseball term, which is trying to illustrate the fact that it's a big, obvious thing that you're supposed to catch.
So
even though a can of corn falling off a top shelf at the grocery could put you in the emergency room.
So corn pop has nothing to do with it?